Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Uh, as you know, this is ExJDub, aka Mitch. Run the podcast, the Ex Jehovah's Witness. You can find that on a lot of platforms. If you want a lot of extras, look for me on Patreon. And I just created that this week. But I like the thing. Uh, Camera just did something weird, but I have a ton of free episodes on Patreon. So look that up, patreon.com/ExJDub. Um, but I wanted to make this video about education, the Jehovah's Witness cult and education. And it's like that update came out last week. And it made me feel like some type of way because it's it's taken me a week just to like say what I'm gonna say now because that's one of the things that triggered me, and I've been mentioning this um, since I started being vocal about being out of that cult, and I've made videos about it, but I do not like how they made families suffer or go without, saying that the end would come soon, and uh, you know, since the end is imminent and it's so close, you don't need this higher education. Maybe go to a trade school, learn a trade. Uh, don't seek like a lofty position in the world, aka don't have a nice career. You know, they say that would take your focus off of serving Jehovah. And why should you work so hard for something that's just going to be gone so soon? So that's what they were constantly like pumping in our brains, right? Especially like in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And you know, I'm a kid in school, in high school in the mid 80s, and they're constantly telling us like don't seek higher education. Like all the active witnesses, they can jump on our post and say, "Oh, we could always go to college," but it's like they know, we know, everyone knows. They look down as an organization. They look down upon you getting higher education or education after high school. Hell, they often always talked about homeschool would be better for your kids because then they wouldn't be under the influence of being around the world, and um, they could even have time to do more, pioneer. And so that's like everything they always pump into our brains. So it triggered me when they came out with that update because it's like I made life decisions because I was all in, and I was focused on the truth, and like I was drinking a Kool-Aid, like, oh yeah. At first, like when I was young, I was like I probably won't even graduate high school, like the system would be here by then. And then you graduate, oh, I probably won't even reach 21. The system will be the old system will be out, the new system in. That was just a way of thinking, a way of life. And so I made life decisions, when I was a junior in high school and a senior in high school, based off this belief at what they were teaching us. And like it just pisses me off to know like this whole cult, it's a hoax, it's a sham, and to know that my parents and their generation went without and suffered, and to know um, like generations after that would feel the repercussions of the decisions that, like my parents and the generation before theirs, and then my generation, they're reaping the repercussions now. And you mean to tell me in 2025 you're going to say it's up to your Christian conscience, like after all these decades of being against it? And that's what pisses me off because, like, not only was it people like my age in the 80s and 90s making life decisions off of this crap we were being fed, but it carried over to when we were adults too. Because even, I'm starting to like get doubts like, when is this damn end coming? We've been waiting for decades. When is it gonna come? But I'm still in that mindset. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. So it's like I even fucked up like things like 401k. I would have it, but I wouldn't take it seriously because I'd be like, it's not gonna matter. Eventually, money won't mean anything. So it's like I fucked that shit up too, and that pisses me off. And it's just like, how much harm could they possibly do as an organization? Like they did a lot of harm to people. And apart from the CSA and the bullying with the shunning and judgments and all that crap, you have this on top of it. They mess with so many people's lives, livelihoods, education. I somebody sent me a post this morning. Um, in Japan, it was like a class action lawsuit, and they're suing because they're saying we were born into this cult, and it was another cult. I can't think of the name, and then they specifically said Jehovah's Witnesses, and this class action lawsuit. They're saying we were born into it. We couldn't make our own decisions. We suffered because of it, and like that's a real thing. Like I smiled when I saw that when they sent it to me this morning because I'm like, that it's like we were born into it and had no choice. That's the way we were just taught. That's the way our parents guided us. That's the way the organization guided us. And I'm not on here trying to like whine. I'm on here venting because, like I said, it pissed me off. Millions of lives screwed up. And yet when they break out that new light, like they did last week, the readjustment in their thinking, they call it, they have said that they can just change and do things without even having to offer an apology because they're the channel between the organization and God and Christ. They said they're the visible channel, but they said they shed light on us gradually, basically saying it's not our fault with changes, it's heaven's fault. So we don't owe you an apology. So that's another thing that should really, really stand out to people that are studying to be a Jehovah's Witness or those that are already in. That should be a huge ass wake up call. They can just keep changing lives. Some things that they were so adamant about, beards and toasting and higher education, they stood their ground strong about all that for decades, and all of a sudden they change it. Oh, we fucked up so many lives. Who cares? Like, yeah, it pisses me off. So please think about that shit if you're still in. Like, is that right? You know, you just like open your eyes and your mind and just think.